How to bury a small pet. Unfortunately, I just had a rat die. One of our pet rats, actually a rescue rat. It was Shirley, and she was a really nice rat. I enjoyed having her here. She was a good girl, and she spent time with me in the last days, hanging out in the pouch. And she was one of the easier ones. She just kind of faded away and died in her sleep last night. So if you got to go, that's one easy way to go. She didn't have a whole lot of trauma. She basically had a whole nice life until finally at the end, she slowed down for a couple of months at the end, and then I knew she was getting very not interested in eating, and she just faded away and passed away. But she was a good girl. Her sister's still alive, but massive tumors and probably has days to weeks. But anyway, that's the story of rats. But to bury a small pet, like I've got, in our case, if I bury my animals out here, and this is unfortunately my pet graveyard, if I bury my animals out here and just put them in the ground, foxes will come and dig them up. So that doesn't work. I learned that one time. I buried a cat out here and foxes dug it up. Now I reburied it, we put rocks on it and all that. So now I'll always have a pile of rocks ready for burial, and you'll see I'll kind of build a cairn and surround the animal with the rocks and make it so they can't be dug up by anything. And I always give them, every animal gets a rock. Some of them big ones have two rats. These are all rats. This big one is two dogs, Scruffy and Ferguson, and all the rest are rats. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of rats. Well, I like rats. I've had a lot of rats, but they don't live very long, and you end up with something like this. Laverne is my next to last. I've decided to not keeping rats. And Laverne is my next to the last rat, and Laverne is my last rat. Shirley just died, and Shirley was my next to the last rat, but now I have one left. So now I bury Shirley, and hopefully Laverne will get a couple more weeks of happiness, and then I'm sure I'll have to bury her as well. Now I should get a pick or something, make it a lot easier digging here. I can get it done a lot quicker, but it won't take me long here. Get through the roots here. Comet, get out of there. Hey, get over here. Stop eating whatever you're eating. Comet, get out of there. Oh, so for a rat, probably need a hole that's about half a meter by half a meter, like 20 inches, one square, something like that. And you have to go down a couple feet. So 2-foot hole, 2 foot deep, pretty good way to do it. A little more than a half of a meter. Hi, Comet. keep all the dirt, which you'll need to fill back in the hole. Comet, stay here. Yeah, some, no, I got a root. Whoa, I got a big root. Whew. Hey, I'm gonna need something for this root. Yeah, goes about that far. Yeah, maybe if I cut it here. Oh, there you go. Oh. Hi, Comet. Hello, bud. Comet. Whew. Whew. Ay, ay, ay. Man. Okay, so I've got my buddy Shirley here. She passed away in her sleep. I'm going to bury her in one of the hides that she liked hiding in. She was a scaredy cat, and more than anything, she liked hiding. So Say my goodbyes to my buddy here. There she is. Come on, this girl. My baby girl. Get her all covered up here. Okay. All right, so I'll get her gently in, and then I'm going to build up around her so I can protect her. Yeah, like this. Get her tail down in there with her good girl. So Rigger had set in, and now she's kind of soft again. So, all right. So let me see. She's kind of up there. So. There we go. It's like building a table. Now I'll go this way. Yep. Someday, some millions of years from now, somebody will dig up all of my my animals here, and they're going to say, "Look at this! These little animals from 200 million years ago. Look at this! They believed in God. They buried their dead, and they built rock structures, and they left them with their toy. They put things they cared about. So look, they were intelligent." Yeah. Anyway. That's pretty good. Okay. All right. So. Let me say. Let me say a little bit for my friend here, before I put her in the hold, wholly, before I say goodbye. Let me say that she was a rescue rat. She was a rat that someone hadn't wanted, her and her sister, who's still alive for now, Laverne and Shirley. And they got turned into the women's animal shelter in North Philadelphia, northeast, way up in north of Philadelphia, actually. I went up and got them it seems like 3 years. They've lasted pretty much longer than most rats live. They clearly went way over. So her age was equivalent to, a person that's 120, 130. You're surprised they can do anything. And that's her story. She had to be 3, and she was a pleasant animal. She was never bit once, never did anything negative. She was afraid of things, but she would never harm anything. She was just such a peaceful soul. I'm glad I knew her. And I'm sure she went to rat heaven, if there is one. Goodbye, Shirley. I am going to put a really nice rock on top. So I've got a couple picked out. I want her to have a nice rock. Everybody gets a rock. Everybody gets a rock. And everybody gets a speech. Everybody deserves to have their story told, even rats. Rats and cats and dogs, they all have a story, and they all deserve to have their story told. Well, that's another rat there. Oh, it's a good thing I'm stopping taking care of rats, because I'm running out of room. And Move, Comet. Move out of there. Okay, so for my friend Shirley, who was a plain brown rat, I got her a plain brown rock. So here is the plain brown rock for my friend Shirley the rat. Shirley the fancy rat. She's next to her friend Izzy. They got along well. I can't remember who. Oh, this is Rosie. She's next to her friend Izzy and her friend Rosie. That's a good thing. They got along great. They were all good buddies. So that makes me want to cry, I think. So goodbye, Shirley, Izzy, and Rosie. I loved you guys.